Hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing fine. Uh, Today we are going to discuss about building configurable widgets on iOS. So first of all, I will start with my introduction. My name is Ronak, and I am living in India. I am working in Paytm Money, which is a stock market application, or you can say a wealth management application, where user can come and invest in stock market, mutual funds, and many other investment schemes. And in my personal side, I like traveling and exploring new places. If you say for abroad, I've been to Nepal, and I've done paragliding and most of the adventure stuff there. And if you want to follow me, this is my Twitter handle. That here you can follow me. So about widgets. So first thing is, what are widgets? Widgets are something that was released by Apple in iOS 14, where user can directly access your contents or app on the iOS home screen. User can directly check the calendars, the news that is inside your application, and they can see it on your iOS home screen. And uh, even with many, there are many cases that you can create your widget, and there are different things. So it's, you can say, in totally it's a medium of increasing the user engagement with your application. Okay. Now today we are going to discuss how to add a widget to your application and how to make a widget configurable. So for starters, I will say there are two types of widgets. First is with static configuration, with second is the intent configuration. Now what is static configured widget? Now you can see this widget is our from our application Paytm Money, where we show the portfolio of the user, okay, at a current time. Now in this widget, the user cannot manipulate anything. User cannot edit the dark mode like theme, or user cannot switch the currency, okay, what he wants to see in. Okay, in India we have rupee only, but let's say if you want to ship our application to some other country, but you cannot do it because it's not a configurable widget. Now you can, that's why it is a statically configured widget. Now in intent based widgets, the intent configured widget, what is happening is user can click on edit widget and user can update the index. Now in this case, this is a widget that we made recently, which shows the, like the last index number, the daily high, daily low, and the last traded price of the index, which of the Nasdaq. Now user can change the index. User can change any of the index which he likes. Okay. Now so today we'll start with static widget first, then we'll go to intent configured widget. Okay. Now let's go to demo project, where we will know how to add the static configured widget and intent based widgets. Okay. So let me go to Xcode. Now go to new project. Next, let's call it my app. Okay. Now we will create a safety UI app. Then we'll just create this app. Okay. So now our app is created, and it doesn't have, it just have the some the content view and text and all. Now to add a widget, we just need to go to new, and we say target. We go to target. Here we search for widget, and we click on this, and we get this dialog where we say my f widget. Okay. And here for now we are not clicking on this checkbox. We'll escape this, we'll exclude this, and we will say finish. And now it is asking me to activate new scheme, which is we have, because we are adding a new target, so we will have a new build scheme. Now we need to activate, and you can see some code is added to our folder, which is this my widget, my app widget. Now if I expand the Xcode, I just close this window as well. Now here's some dummy code added by the Apple, or some reference code added by the iOS. Now if you see for where to start from this code, So first we will go to the at the rate main thing. Now you know that every starting point or of any initialize application is at the rate main. So this denotes that it is the starting point of our application or target. Now for widget, this is the starting point at the rate main where we are. This is a struct, and this is some which is returning body, which is returning some opaque type as a widget configuration. Okay, so this is some SwiftUI code that you are seeing. Now, what is happening here is inside this we are returning some static configuration. Okay, so what I told before is we have some configuration that we have to make. Okay, now you can see in this code we are passing some identifier and some provider, and one completion is returned where we are getting some entry, and which is entry going into the view. Okay, so what is happening here, let's start with the flow diagram first. Okay, so we can you see this flow diagram where I have told that we have at the rate main first, which is the starting point for our widget. Now which will request a widget configuration. Okay, so which is this thing which it is asking for a widget configuration. And what widget configuration does is it can be of two types, static and intent based. Okay, and what is the work of widget configuration, that it will ask a provider for the data, and it will, and the provider what it does is it will return the data with the completion block to the widget configuration. Okay, so far we have seen that we have to create a configuration which will take a provider, and what provider will do is it will give back us the data. Okay, now let's go to the provider. What is a provider? So provider is a struct which is confirming to timeline provider protocol. Okay, so let's understand first what is a timeline provider. So a widget is, you can say, a series of timeline. It can hold a series of timeline. Let's say we have a 5 hour timeline, and every hour we will show a different image to the user of the widget. Now, it's a timeline that there are multiple entries at every hour. Okay, so you can see here that we are creating confirming it to timeline provider protocol. Now it is giving some methods which we have to implement. The first method is the placeholder, which you can say that when widget is in transient state, or when widget is let's say calling some API or getting some data, asynchronous data, so it will show some redacted state that you have seen in SwiftUI, that it will show some kind of gray boxes or something based on your UI. Okay, now the second method is get snapshot. Okay, now this method what it does is when your widget is in widget gallery, let me open some simulator and show it to you. So when widget in the widget gallery, we can show that some simple, and we can show some dummy data to the user. Okay, now I've opened my simulator. Let me delete these apps. Okay. Now if you go here, you can see there are multiple widgets here. Now if you go inside, let's say Siri screen time, you can see some dummy data over here. So this is the snapshot of the widget. It is not the real data. It can be a real data if it is asynchronous. Okay, if you are calling an API, you should not call any API in this get snapshot method. It should be synchronous data. It should be very fast, like within a second or within millisecond the data, the completion should return. Otherwise it will show the placeholder over here. Okay, the next thing is the get timeline method. Now what is that is it ask ask for a timeline. So here you can see the iOS has added some code where you can see that we are having a entries array of entries. That's why I told, like, we can have an array of entry for every hour, and we are taking a current date. And what it is doing is it on the 5 hour interval, it is giving an hour offset to every entry, and it is appending it to the our main entry array of entries. Okay, now what is happening is we are returning a completion with some timeline. Now you can see that we are initializing the timeline with entries, and there is a policy. Now what this policy is, this is basically what how when you are going to reload your widget. Okay, this is the timeline reload policy. What it has is it has three types: at end, never, and after. At end means when all the entries are over, we need to reload the timeline. So when after 5 hours all the images are over, all the entries are over, it will start. It will again ask for a new timeline. And there is never. It says that we don't need to reload the widget. It will never be reloaded. We just have to show static data to the user. Okay, and there is one more method which says after date. It means we need to reload widget after some time. Let's say there is a single entry in your widget. Okay, and it shows some stock market data. Now after a market is closed, you need to show some data to the user. After, like in before the market is open, like you can say that after an interval of 6 hours I want to reload the widget. So that way you can use this method. Okay, so you can just do dot after, like dot after, and from the current date you can add an hour offset, and you can just put it here, and it will reload the widget after that hours have passed. Okay, now you can see that simple entry is confirming to this timeline entry. It's a protocol which has two things: date and relevance. Okay, now we will discuss date for now. Relevance is needed when the it is regarding more of the like how the content of the widget is relevant to the user. Okay, I system tries to show it the widget more often. Like in iOS 15, there are many releases to like with respect to putting the widget on your first. So those kind of thing. But we will go through the date first. Okay, so it's giving us some date. Okay, and this is our view, the entry view, this which is the view that you see on the uh, widget. Okay, now if I run this application. Okay, so it is showing some widget which has some time. Okay, because you can see our timeline, like in our end widget we have view, we have given stylus time, and we have giving some data. Okay, now this is a static kind of widget because user cannot edit anything. Like if I want to see time in 12-hour format, or if I want to see the dark mode theme, user cannot do anything. So how do we provide the user configurability? So that's what we will go to: intent configured widget. Okay, there are more things that I want to talk about here. Let's say there are many things like configurable display name. So this is something when you go to widget drawer. Okay, when you are seeing your app widget here, you can see my widget here, right? Like this is the thing that you can configure using this guy, my widget, and the description that you're seeing you can configure using this thing, this modifier. Now there is one more modifier which says support families. Okay, now if let's say your widget is very small and you cannot create a large widget because it will take extra space, you can see here the time is like there is so much of white space. Okay, now what you can do is you can just give the families as system small. Okay, there are three types of families: system medium, system large, and system small. For this case, let's say if I give system small and I run the code again. Now if you go again here, and if you see my app, you can see only that it is giving us you a small widget. Okay, now let's move to the intent configured widget. Now I will close the application. What I will do is I will remove the target first. I will update this project only. I will remove this target, and I will delete this as well. Now you just go to file, new, target, widget extension. Okay, click on next. It will be my app widget. Okay, now this time click on the include configuration intent. Now when you say finish, what it does is it will create a widget file same as earlier, but now there is a different one more file as well, which is my app intent definition. Okay, now so because we are dealing with system capabilities, the we need to use intent. Okay, because that's how system will tell us that what user has given us input. Okay. Now let's see what are the changes in our my app widget code. So if you see at the rate main the our main file, you can see that the static configured is changed to the intent configuration, and there is one more parameter added, which is the configuration intent. The what is the type of intent that you are supporting. Okay, so there can be multiple widget and you can support multiple intents as well. Now the provider is already there, and everything is same. The modifiers are also same. So even the support families also they will remain same. Okay, everything remains same. Just the type is changed. Okay. Now let's go to our provider. Our provider is confirming to intent timeline provider protocol. Now this is a different protocol than the earlier one. It has the same method, the placeholder one, but the snapshot method is changed. Here you can see that there are some configurations coming, which from the our intent. Okay, and even the get timeline method is also changed. We are here we have given the we are getting the configuration intent. Okay, now what user can do is user can always let's say I build this code. Now if I go to edit widget, you can see there is one more option coming, which is edit widget, which is coming because of we have asked we have added the configuration thing. Now this is not working. Why? Because we have not updated the intent definition file. Okay. Now what we need to do in the intent definition file is we just need to go here and we just need to do this. Intent is eligible for widget. Now we need to add some parameters. Okay, now let's say switch theme. Okay, now this switch theme I want to make it in like dark theme or light theme. I want to switch the theme of the widget. So what I will do is I will just uh, add it as a boolean. Okay, and there are many things like it is configurable, and I just don't want to use resolvable. I will say that default value is false, and default value is false and the display name is true. Okay, now when you run this code. Okay, now if you go to edit a widget. I will maybe remove it and edit again. Okay, now you see the switch theme. Okay, so user has added the widget and he can see a toggle because you are using a boolean. Okay, and the display name you can change it from here, switch theme from light to dark, so that way you can do. Okay, and this is the description and all are coming from whatever we saw in the previous thing, that configurable display name and the description. Okay, so this is about the intent configured widget. Okay, now let's go ahead on what I have created using this guy, how to call API and how to uh, um, handle multiple things inside the intent configurations. So this you have seen is the synchronous widget, like you are not calling any API and you are not doing anything. Okay, so this is the Apple's provided one. Now let's go to the widget that I have created. Okay, now let's see the code here. What is that I am doing? So in this project, what I am doing is I am taking a list of cities, okay, and I want to display the weather of the widget, particular city on the widget. Okay, I think. So in this widget, what I am trying to do is I have a list of cities. So I have downloaded this data of the database of the cities from a public database, which will give me lat and long of the city, and I just need to call an API to show the weather of that particular city. So here you can see that this is a city Bangalore, and here I am getting the lat and long, and I will pass into my API, and I will get the weather of that widget, particular city. Okay. So looking into my code, what I have done is I have created a weather widget. If you can see here, this is the my widget, and I am passing intent configuration here. Okay. And if you go to my provider, let's say if I start with provider first, I have an API service here, and in my placeholder I am providing the dummy data. Okay. Dummy data is in, like, you need to show in the gallery. Okay. So I am passing this guy over in the dummy data. Okay. Now what I am doing here is, uh, in the snapshot also I'm passing a dummy data in placeholder also, and in the get timeline method, and from the configuration I am getting the city name, and from the city name I am basically getting the latitude and longitude of the particular city. Also, we can change the unit, in the sense like Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay. User also can update this thing. Okay. So what I am doing here is, uh, this is my API service that I was talking about. Okay. It will just fetch the data from the open service, which is weatherbit.io. Okay. And if you go to, so to deal with the things like, in my intent definition, if you go here, you see that this is my city unit, which is a enum. Okay. And in the enum, you can add a custom enums. Okay. Because this is my Celsius and Fahrenheit, I need to add a custom enum. And here you can just do add enum, and you can add cases like Celsius, Fahrenheit. Okay. Like that way you can add them. Now I've added like a Celsius and Fahrenheit over here, and I've given the display name as well. Okay. And okay. And now this is my city names. Okay. City name is of type city data. Okay. Now in this data, I've added a type as these two are default ones. This will come as default, and I've added latitude and longitude as separately, because I just want these two data to pass into my API. Okay. Now what is happening is, like in this city names, what I am doing is I am taking the city data and selected these options. Now there are many multiple options as well. First is the dynamic options. The options are provided dynamically. That means user can actually search in some box and get the results, and intent handler provides search results as the user types. Okay. This means that we need to integrate an intent handler as well. Okay. To allow the user to search. Okay. Now how to deal with this kind of custom data types. Okay. Now this, you can go to file, new, and target, and you can search for intent extension. Okay. Now you can click say yes, and you can just give the product name, and starting point, you can say none, and you can just get this done, and it will create an intent handler file. Okay. Where nothing will be there. Currently I have added some code, but nothing will be, only intent handler class will be there. Okay. So what is happening here is, uh, you will, when you create the intent definition file, you will get this protocol weather intent handling by default. Like it will be created by default by the xcode, and you can confirm your intent handler with this protocol. And as soon as you change your intent definition from the this guy, from here, let's say if you unselect these some options, you will, your protocol will also change. Okay. Your protocol method will also change, and everything, many things will change. Now what I am doing here is, as the I'm getting a search term, so whenever user types, okay, it will give me a callback. What I am doing is, then I'm getting the city JSON. Okay. I am creating a data model from there, and from the data model I have a city list. Okay. In that city list, I am searching if that search term exists, and I am returning the particular cities from there, and returning the array of cities. Now that array of cities is my data that is passed to ion object collection. Now this thing is also introduced in iOS 14 because of the widgets only. So widgets take the callback in form of this guy only. Now I'm passing the data to creating a collection, and I am calling the completion handler over here. Okay. Now if anything fails, we always have the error handling over here. You can pass in any type of error, like custom error that you want to say to the user that currently it's not possible, or something of any kind. Here, this is a synchronous operation, but you can always call an API for the cities. I was not able to find any public API, so that's why I was using the local DB. But you can call any API and return a completion block. That is also the same. Okay. Now, let's go back to other widget and our provider, and see what is happening here is, whenever user types a search term and select any city, this method will be invoked. Okay. Now what this method will do is, it will come here and uh, take update the next update date, which is from 1 hour from the current date. Okay, I that means I will uh, update my widget every 1 hour. Okay. Now next thing is the model. It will take the city names from the my configuration, and it is passing the lat long here, and it is also taking the unit from the configuration that I have already talked about. Now what is happening is, it is calling the weather data for location API. Okay. Now is this API will give me response and error. Okay. So when error is nil and I am getting the data model, I am creating an entry. Okay. I'm creating an entry, and I'm passing the data model, the response to my entry, and the also the unit. Okay. Now what is happening is, this is my data. Okay. This has weather model, units, and theme. Okay. Now if you I'm passing it to my timeline. Okay. I'm passing the entries to my timeline, and I'm returning a completion. So you can see there is only single entry. Okay, which is will always be there, and it will update every 1 hour. Okay. Now when I build this thing. Okay. So we we need to close and run it again. Okay. Okay. So the app is running now. So there is one catch, that user has to launch your app a single time to see the widget in your gallery. Okay, if he hasn't launched your app, then he won't see the widget in the widget gallery. Now, now I'm not seeing it. I think something is. Okay, I think I again have to launch, open it, close it. So I do this again. It's not coming. Okay, so now I think it will come. It's not coming. Okay, I think the let me is not there. So if you see the widget is coming now, now it is saying the temperature. Okay. Now if I select Celsius, now if you go to city names, if you type Singapore, it's giving some results. Okay. Now as you types, it will keep showing some results. Okay. If you select Singapore and let's say search dark theme, it will showing you the Singapore's temperature. Okay. Now if you go here and select the light theme and select the Fahrenheit, it will show you these in the light theme and Fahrenheit. Okay. So this is about the widgets. Yeah. And if you want to reload your widget from your application, let's say there is something, some data that you are showing to the user, which is coming on here. This is screen, and it should get updated once the user goes to the same data where he can find the same in the application. What you can do is you can just call the widget center dot shared dot reload all timelines. What it does is it will reload all the widgets which are part of your application. Okay, it will reload all of them. Now there is one more, widget center dot share dot reload timelines of kind. Now you can see it is asking for a kind. Okay, now if you go to weather widget, you can see that we are passing a identifier over here. Okay, now if you pass the same identifier to this guy, it will reload only this guy. It will not reload any other widgets. Okay. Now there is one more method which you can consume, which will give you the current configuration of your widgets. Okay. It will give you what is the all the widget info, which is basically configuration, what type of family your widget support and intent. So this also you can use to show some UI in your application regarding the widget. Yeah. And let's go ahead in the presentation. So how we are using the widget to show it to our user. So you can see this is the widget that we made to show portfolio of the user. You can see that we are showing the mutual fund portfolio. When we launched the stock market product, we created a stock widget as well to show the stock portfolio of the user. And this chart is also custom, like it is dependent on the user's portfolio, like what time the what is the portfolio. So every user there will be a different chart, and the chart is also theme based. Like when you switch, like when your iOS theme is dark mode, when you're using dark mode, it will show the dark mode, and the light mode theme is light mode one. Okay. Now if you recently created this widget which shows the indices of the all the global indices that we have. You just need to search for Paytm Money and take this widget and add it to your home screen. And when you edit the widget, it will ask you to select from these indices, and you can select any of them, and you can just see that the widget is reloaded with the updated data. Okay. So this is how we have implemented the widget in our application. Yeah. Thanks a lot for attending the session.
Okay, thank you, Ronak. We have some questions coming in.
Okay.
The first question is from Nadun. How do you create multiple widgets?
Okay. Okay. So for that, I'll share my screen again. Uh, so there is something known as widget bundle. Okay. So we just do this. Strict struct widget. Okay. It will confirm to widget bundle. Okay. Some widget bundle kind of thing, or a widget bundle builder. Okay. So using this, you can actually create a widget. Okay. Think one second, I'll show you the exact thing how I have done in my application. Oh yeah, I got it now. I'll show it to you. So basically, you just need to create this struct, okay, and you just have to add your main target here. So see this. What I am doing here is you just need to give your main target here, and you just need to return a bundle from here, and you can return multiple type widgets from like this. And it supports I think only 4 or 5 because of the varied initializer that SwiftUI has something has. So you can also always create multiple bundles of the widget, and you can return like this, and you can just do dot body from here. Yeah. So this way you can create them.
So does that mean that each of these widgets are three separate targets?
Yeah. No, these are not three separate targets, but these are three. You can say the target is only one, but these are three different types of widget, like the three entry points of the every widget. You can say
Oh,
target is only one. The extension target will remain as one only, but it can support multiple. It can host multiple. You can say UI components or the widget components.
I see. Okay, I guess yeah. We have some more questions. Um, from Banti, it says that intent properties is a way to provide data with default value.
Hmm.
Later, user can make the changes.
Hmm.
Is that right to say?
So intent property, you can say that it is something on which it is a data model for our widget. Okay, so you can provide default values to show a widget to the user. User can add the widget and it will show the default values. That what I showed was like Bengaluru was there and I selected some default values, but user can always go and update them and it will create a data model in term of intent properties. So that's why we use them. Like we pass the same thing to the widget. So yeah.
Yeah, that means that the user can change the intent properties by themselves.
User can update the property. So that's why I said like user can select a city name, and based on the city name, you can get the lat and long from that particular model and pass it to the widget. So user can always update it.
In that case, is there any life cycle events for the widget?
Okay, so this I have not explored this yet, but we have a get timeline method, and you can say whenever user adds a widget, the get placeholder will get called, and then the get timeline will method will get called. So it's not kind of a life cycle, but you can say that these are the method that we need to like. There are only three methods, so you need to take care of like which one to use when.
Mm-mm. Okay. All right. Last question. Is there any challenges that you faced during the debugging of this widget?
Yeah, so debugging of a widget, there are many challenges. Like you cannot debug it directly, so you just need to attach to process. So if I show it to you, uh, there is this debug, and you need to go attach to process, and you need to select the widget. Okay, so let's say I'm running my application target. Okay, now my okay, I'm running my application target. Now the application is open, but I want to debug the widget. So what I need to do is like I just need to go to debug and attach to process. I just need to select the widget extension. Okay. So whenever any changes happens to my widget, it will come here. Like you can see that it is showing the CPU and memory use for the widget. So sometimes you need to do it by manually by attaching to process, and like it is not guaranteed that it will work properly. But when it is not working, you just need to do attach to process. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I guess that's all for the questions.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ronak, for speaking at the iOS Dev Scout. And yeah, we look forward to maybe have you again at the another meetup talk if you
Yeah,
have. All right.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.